Yo, Nakama, how is it going? It's your boy Cozy coming at you with week 5 of the power updates in the One Piece OP16 format. We're going to be looking at the top leaders of the meta, as well as what decks have been the most successful in this week on the One Piece sim. So don't miss out, and I'll catch you guys in just a second. Peace and love, y'all. All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to take a look at this ranking here, and we're just going to get an honest opinion of how the week has been. We're going to see what decks are doing really, really well, and we're going to see what decks kind of fell off to the wayside. So looking at the ranked ladder, so this is the 1 billion berry plus ladder. We're looking at Green Blue Luffy still dominating the format right now with a 52% win rate. Blue Yellow Nami, the former Titan of OP15, took a little bit of a hit, still ranking number 2 though. Very, very solid list. Very, very, very abusable in the format. Purple Enel taking a 3rd place spot, just showing that OP15 was still a very strong meta for leaders that came in that format, and OP16 has not really changed that at all. Marshall D. Teach, though, coming down from 3rd place to 4th place compared to last week, which was really, really interesting. Deck's still performing well at a 51.9%, pretty much call it a 52% win rate across the board. And then Rosie is wrapping up our top 5, finishing at a 52% win rate overall. So honestly, this list I don't see being very surprising. This is a very strong format for Green Blue Luffy, and for Nami doesn't surprise me. Same thing with Enel, Teach, and Rosie is honestly probably the more surprising one out of all of them, but it got a ton of Purple Navy support. So the Navy version of Purple Yellow Rosie is doing really, really well, and I can see why it's listed here in the top 5. So we're going to look at a couple of deck lists from the top 5 here and just see which ones have been doing really well in the sim, just so that way you guys can get an understanding of how they are, and I'll catch you guys in a second. All right, guys, welcome in. We're going to take a look at some of the top deck lists that are performing really, really well for a couple of the leaders that we saw in the ranking. I do want to start with Green Blue Luffy, which is the top deck in the format right now, at least according to the power rankings. And my own personal unbiased opinion, I think this is definitely the best deck in the format just because it's aggressive. It can do a whole lot of things. It searches, it draws, it does so much in this format that I don't see it really losing to a whole lot of things. And pretty much everybody in my locals is playing it. More often than not, I'm playing a Green Blue Luffy than any other leader in the format right now. But let's take a look at what has done the best overall in terms of win rate according to the power rankings and things like that. Starting off with 4 copies of the Luffy Searcher, really good option. 3 of the Galdino from ST30. I think this is fine. It's a really good 2K, but it also has that activate main of just resting himself to give 2 of our characters with a base power of 6K up to 2 rested Dawn. So for resting him, we're putting 4 Dawn worth of value that we've already spent the worth on. So I don't see really much of an issue with it. I think 3 of is a fine number because you don't really want to see it too much, but you also want to see enough of it because it's a 2K. And there's probably some other things that are in this list that you could probably rearrange and do whatever, but I think 3 is okay in terms of ratio. You could bump it up to 4 though. 2 of Ankov to look at the top 3 for an impel down and cheetah body out. Just another staple from OP16 for this leader. Nothing too much to kind of look at and like put a trophy on, I guess. 3 Boa. I think you definitely put a trophy on this one because this is wife for 1. But for 2, 3 of is really good. It's a very, very tall body. Technically for 5 if you use the leader effect after playing her. She stuns a character other than Luffy and is unblockable. So an unblockable 9K is just a solid push all the way around. 4 Daz Bones and 4 Bonkure to draw and add some pressure to your opponent with 6K swings. 4 copies of Ivankov from ST12. I haven't really seen this in my local at least, but I guess it works. What does it exactly do? Reveal a top card of the deck. If you one character can and then bottom it. When attacking, you look at the top card of the deck. I mean, I could see it. It definitely helps when it comes to 1, it's an impel down character, but 2, it's letting you kind of look at what is at the top of the deck and kind of try to cheat some things out or at least build your toolbox. I can see it being a good 4 of, and it's a good 1K counter if you don't really want to see it or even have an opportunity to play because you're playing all your other value engine stuff. So I can dig it. 3 Croc is interesting. Well, for one, it's a brick, but I think playing 3 Croc, it's not necessarily bad. It's a good blocker, and it'll let you cheat out, like bouncing a Bonkure and then replaying it to draw. So it definitely does replace itself in that kind of idea, but again, I don't really have too many complaints on it. 4 Galdino, I feel is a must. If you're playing in blue, I would highly recommend playing 4 Galdino, or at least 3 Galdino, just so that way you have that stun and additional draw power. 4 Buggy, 9 Prisoner. I totally agree with the 4 Buggy and playing all these prisoners. I don't feel like you need to go overboard, especially because your leader effect doesn't really cheat out the prisoners, but it's a good solid 2K. So, I mean, realistically, looking at kind of where we're at in terms of the characters, we have 3 with the Galdino. I don't think we have any other 2K. No. So 9 and 3, that's what, 12? So we have 12 2Ks in the deck. Pretty solid. A lot of our stuff is 1Ks minus a couple of bricks here and there. So not really too complaining on terms of counter. You're going to definitely have counter. You definitely have at least one blocker to kind of protect yourself. And then we run the counter event, the let's go to Navy headquarters at 3 of. I think you definitely need to see it. So 3 of is fine for me. It's a great way to restand and kind of be a game closer if you want to, but it also gives your leader a 3K for 1 Dawn. So if you're really, really desperate and you need the counter to survive, at least you have this as a backup plan. 1 copy of Gum Gum Rain. Still very solid 2K. I love the 2K in general. But also has a good trigger of returning 1 character with a cost of 2 or less to the owner's hand. So like let's say they swing life and you still have a full board, you could technically bounce the Bonkure or the Mr. 2 back or Mr. 1 back. Just so that way you have it. But or you could just pop or bounce something on your opponent's side that's a cheap body. Like if you're in the mirror match, this would be really, really good just to bounce something off the board so they can't use the restand event or whatever the case is. And then 2 copies of Graveblade. I personally think this is more so for the mirror match, as well as the Teach matchup specifically, because bottom decking does not KO things, so they don't get the inherent value of the KO effects from Teach, but it also kind of reduces your opponent's board in the mirror. I think 2 of is totally fine here because you can still bottom deck a 4 cost off trigger. So overall, I can see why this list is very successful. I think this is a very solid list. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Now I want to highlight the Rosinante, which was number 5 on our leaderboard, just so that way I can kind of highlight the Navy package that I was mentioning. So for Rosie, we're running 4 Kobe Searcher and 2 Suru Searcher as a 2K. I think this is totally okay because we can search for Navy cards. The downside with Suru is you got to discard 1 card from your hand. So it's not the best, but also technically not the worst. Running, of course, the 4 promo blocker law. So if the number of Dawn on your field is equal to or less than your opponent, add 1 Dawn rested. Okay. So again, it's really good off of the Rosie effect. You can go ahead and just Dawn -1, play this out for 2, get a Dawn back. Very, very strong, very, very solid. You're running 3 Hand Rip Law, which I feel in this meta is way overpowered. Hand ripping is definitely the way to go in a lot of these matchups. So definitely putting things in your opponent's trash from hand gets around of a lot of like the on KO effects. It gets rid of putting cards in hand for counter if you can rip some counter out of it. But hand rip law definitely feel like is definitely a staple in terms of at least the Rosie build. Or if you're running a purple build, could try to tech in the hand rip law. But I wouldn't recommend doing it in like Sengoku or other things like that. 4 copies of Rosie Law Blocker. Again, just a normal 4 of in the purple yellow Rosie build. 4 Sack. I will always say Sack is now a permanent staple of purple because it will gives you power management. So you can use like Sakazuki Mamaragan. You can then ramp with Sakazuki every turn. So if you're using some Dawn minus effects, just rest the Dawn, you get 2 Dawn back with Sack. I definitely think it's a purple staple. Definitely need a 4 of. And it's a Navy, so you can search it off of Kobe and off of Suru. Now we're getting into the yellows. So Rosinante Searcher for a law. So the only thing you can really find that we've seen so far is the promo law, the hand rip law, and the Rosie law. We have the yellow law and female law off of the Rosie. But I can see why you're only running it as a 2 of. It's not necessarily something you'd really want to have in hand because you don't really have a whole lot of targets for it in terms of like options, but you do have it in terms of quantity because you have what 4, 7, 11, 15, 16 options. So a little under half the deck you can hit with the Rosie Law. Um, but ideally, I would want to see Kobe to kind of grab some of the Navy stuff, just that way I can set myself up for future turns. You are running one copy of the yellow X Drake in this one, which is really, really solid. 4 copies of the 2K Law. If your leader is Supernova, which it is not. So the trigger doesn't really matter, but it's a good searchable 2K. 4 copies of Borsalino. I feel if you're running a yellow deck, you need to run a playset of Borsalino just because it stalls the game out and just lets you heal and have a blocker on board. 2 copies of Wiper to go ahead and flip a life card face up. Give all your opponent's characters minus 2K. Then you KO an opponent's characters with 0 power or less, and that's the on play. You can give Arrested Dawn to one of your Sky Island type leader or characters, which you don't necessarily use the on play except for kind of putting it on him if you want to, because I don't think any of your other stuff is Sky Island. Not. So you would only really target the Wiper, but I feel you're using this for the on play effect. 1 copy of the Female Law has Rush. You can trash a card from your hand and trash this character. Then you add 1 card from the top of the deck to the top of the life. Then play 1 Trafalgar Law with a cost of 7 or less from hand. So what you could do is play this, swing this, trash it to heal, and then play like a Rosie Law, just so you have an additional blocker. That's an option you could do. You could play the Hand Rip Law. You could play pretty much it unless you want to play the 2K Law, which I highly doubt you would. So one of these 3 would probably be your target option for the female Rosie or female Law, and solid. Like I said, Mama Ragen, got to run a 4 of. I feel it pairs really, really well with Sakazuki. It's really good. Also, you're going to be at 6 Dawn or less for a big chunk of the game, so you will definitely be using the draw effect. 1 copy of Slow Beam. I personally run Slow Beam in like my sack deck. I love Slow Beam. Like it's so irritating to have somebody like slow beam you and you have to like rest a big body, you have to rest one of your blockers. Like it's gross to see this card, and I kind of cringe every time that I play and I get hit with the slow beam. But then I also am very excited to see them cringe when I play it. I just love the card itself, and it's super fun to play. I like it as a 1 of in this. 3 copies of Gum Gum Lightning. You could also chain this with the Sakazuki. Like, let's say you're on 9 Dawn. You would go ahead and hit the sack to minus something 6,000 power. So basically, you can kill anything in the game with Sakazuki Gum Gum Lightning on your 9 or 10 Dawn turn if you really don't have anything else to play. Because, like, let's say they have the blocker teach. You can play sack, minus it to 6K, play Gum Gum Lightning, and Dawn minus 2 to get rid of it. You still have the 1 Dawn active if you're on 10 Dawn. You can rest it, get that 2 Dawn back that you paid for Gum Gum Lightning as active, and then you have 2 additional Dawn to play with. So you could technically save it for Slow Beam if you have it in hand, or you could just use it for additional counter. Or you could even play the Law, because you would Rosie effect, pay the 2 Dawn that you had active from this to play this, or Hand Rip Law. So there's a couple of options that you could run. 3 I love yous to give your leader character plus 2K, and then if you have 2 or less life cards, search for a Law. Pretty solid. And then 4 copies of Navy to look at the top 5 for a Navy, which honestly is going to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 potential option cards. In terms of quantity wise, it's pretty much most of the deck. Like just a solid pick overall. I think this is solid. I like this Rosie list. The only thing that I would probably change, honestly, the Wiper. I just don't like Wiper. And it could just be my playstyle. I don't see the purpose of Wiper in this particular list. I would much rather kind of dump it into looking for maybe like another female Law and then a Hand Rip Law. So I'd run 4 and 2. that would probably be my option, or probably run additional slow beam. Just something for my playstyle, that's what I would do. But definitely with a 74% win rate out of 50 games, it does really well. Only thing it plays really well into is the black yellow teach, unfortunately. So like if we take a look, let's see. So green blue Luffy, it doesn't do really well in. Blue yellow Nami sits at a 47% win rate for it, 57% against Teach, 39% against Danelle, and then it does even in the mirror. So it's a little rough, but hey, it does really well in the games that it does play. So I could see how this list does well. So let's go ahead and take a look at one more, and then I'll catch you guys in the outro. Welcome to the last little spotlight we're going to look at here for Purple and Nell. So looking at Purple and Nell, the one big thing I can definitely say is they took Dog out again. There's always been this back and forth of like, is Dog supposed to be in it? Is Dog not supposed to be in it? Well, according to how it does in terms of win rate, no Dog. So looking at 4 Pudding Searchers, that's normal. 4 Ohm is normal. 2 Satori, also very normal. 4 Shura, that is also normal. So the core didn't really change. You're running 2 Frankie, 4 Reiju, which I would say is correct. I would run 4 of the Reiju and then run less of the Frankie. So 4-2 is an even split. I can dig it. 1 Hand Rip Law, like I said, Hand Rip Law, purple, gotta run it. This would be an example of when you would run it. Just that way you can kind of hand rip out of like the green blue Luffy player. 1 Blocker NL and 4 Secret NLs. Very solid list. I can take that. 1 Divine Departure, 4 Vardy to have additional 2Ks in hand. 4 Elthor to take care of the green blue Luffy matchup. 4 Kitten, 4 Lightning Dragon, 4 Mamaragan, and 3 Gamma Knife. I may have to pick up Purple NL again, because this is kind of honestly, this might be my deck for real. Because I mean, I don't mind playing Purple NL, but at the same time, like, not very good at the deck. But hey, I may take this to locals and kind of see how it does, and it may be my go-to, because I really haven't found a go-to list yet. Didn't really get anything, and honestly didn't even get anything from OP16 that it is going to run. So if you have your NL deck from OP15, make a couple changes, and you got an OP16 NL deck. It does really, really well into green blue Luffy with a 63% win rate. Black yellow Teach and blue yellow Nami are the bane of your existence, with both being at about 34 to 35% win rates in terms of going against those decks, which I could see, because you would have to take second away from them, and you're more of like a go first type of build with this is what I'm seeing, because you can just instantly go to leader effect and start swinging away. You're 50-50 in your mirror match, same thing. And Rosie, you do really well at almost 61% win rate overall, but I feel with this particular deck, you have to be, it's very, very pilot dependent, I feel. With Purple NL being a very pilot specific deck to do your sequences right, and knowing when not to use leader effect to what characters to swing. But overall, I could probably take maybe a couple of games off of it with a Nell. I don't see myself topping with it because I'm not good at the deck, but I'm going to give it a shot and see how it does. This might be the list that I run, so just be on the lookout for those gameplay videos where I am running that list, and we'll see how it goes. But overall, I think this is my favorite list, other than like the green blue loop. I don't want to play yellow in this format. And that is going to do it for this quick review of the format in OP16 week number 5. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments below, but also by liking, commenting, and subscribing to the YouTube channel to ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next upload. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace and love, y'all.
Thanks for riding with the vibe. Cozy games every time. Pulling leaders, making plays on the line. Sailing through the grand line. Strategy refined. Catching